Okay, so lesson 4.1, this is the extended practice or the extra practice. It says, what are the ratios to compare the quantities? Jacob buys 17 ounces of grapes and Olivia buys 21 ounces of oranges. What we need to do there is we see that there's 17 and 21. It says, what is the ratio of the grapes to oranges? So we always start with exactly what they're looking for. And if you look, it says grapes to oranges. So we would look at the grapes and it is 17 to the oranges, which is 21. I would probably write it as 17 over 21 because it makes it easier when we have to reduce. What is the ratio of oranges to grapes? It's in reverse, which is 21 over 17. Okay, let's look at the next question. State whether each of the following can be expressed as a ratio. If yes, express the ratio in simplest form. So the answer to this is yes, we can convert yards to inches. Now you need to look back and you need to say, wait a minute, how many inches are in a yard? Well, I don't know, but I do know that for every 1 yard, there's 3 feet. And for every 1 foot, there's 12 inches. So if this was a foot, this was a foot, this was a foot. Therefore, we would have 36 inches in 2 yards. So then we would multiply that number by 2. We get 72 inches. So 72 inches per 60 inches. Now what we have to do is we have to put these in simplest terms. So we would divide both 72 and 60 by 12. And that gives us a 6 to 5 ratio. Number 3 cannot be done because we are going from gallons to tons. So we would write no. Next, we have 18 feet and 5 yards. It's asking us to express each ratio in simplest form. So if we look at this, we have 18 feet. 18 feet equals 18 feet. And then we have 5 yards equals how many feet? So you would multiply 5 by 3, and we get 15. Now to put that in simplest form, we would divide both by 3, divide by 3, and you get 6 to 5 ratio. The next problem is a bit of a bear because we have to know how many ounces are in a pint, and I don't know that off the top of my head. So I would go back to my handy dandy model of gallons, and in each gallon there is 4 quarts. And in each quart there is 2 pints. And in each pint there is 2 cups. Now, we do know that 1 cup equals 8 ounces. And we know that there are 2 cups in each pint, so that must be there are 16 ounces in every pint. So if we have 3 pints, we would have to multiply 16 by 3, and we get 48 ounces. So we know that 30 ounces equals 48 ounces. Okay, now we have to put it in simplest terms, and I would divide both of these by 6, divide 48 by 6, and we get 5. And I believe the other one is 8. Next problem. Write each ratio in simplest form. We can divide both 54 and 96 by 6. So 54 divided by 6 is 9, and 96 divided by 6 is 16. Next one, 8 yards, 40 feet. Now, we can't do this unless they're the same. So what we should do is we should figure out, okay, do I want to change yards to feet or feet to yards? I like changing yards to feet, so I'd multiply this by 3, and I end up with 24 feet to 40 feet. But that's not in simplest terms, so I would divide by 4, divide by 4, and I end up with 6/10. Now I look at this and I say, uh-oh, these are not even, so I would divide both by 2 again, and I end up with 3/5. On to the next problem. All right, so we have 4 gallons and we have 20 pints. Again, we have to figure out how many pints are in a gallon. So I would just quickly throw out my model. Quart, 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 quart. We know that there are 2 pints in each quart. And I look back and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 pints equals 1 gallon. So that means that 4 gallons would be 32 pints. Set that equal to 20 pints, or set that as a ratio of 20 pints. And then we would reduce. Divide both of these by 4. And I get 8 to 5. Next, I'd look at this and I'd say, okay, I have 42 ounces, and I would say I have 5 pounds. We know that there are 16 ounces per pound. So I would multiply that by 5 to get the number of ounces in 5 pounds, and I get 80 ounces. So we have 42 to 80, and then you got to look back and you got to say, I can reduce that, and I would reduce them both by 2. We end up with 21 to 40. And that should be it. Have a good one.